That's what we all need to do. Take a deep breath. With so many expectations going into the year, we're taking every loss as if it was 5 losses. We're only 3-5, and there's a lot of time to rectify things. But let's take a look at the Atlanta video together to kind of understand what the Magic are going to need to do to dig themselves out of this hole. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentin, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. You got to do the normal YouTube thing, so hit that like, share this video, drop a comment below on your feelings of the Orlando Magic so far this year. And if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. So, really, as I mentioned, a showcase game a couple games ago, a couple days ago, and we didn't show up. And now a lot of questions are starting to swirl around the team. Like, oh, is Mosley going to be the coach to be able to take us to the next level? What's wrong with Paolo? Why isn't Franz having the ball more? What's up with Desmond and those crazy eyes pointing to the other guys saying like you could come and get it kind of thing, spiking the ball off guys. Like, is the frustration already starting to bubble for this team to a level that is going to be unhealthy for them moving forward as a team? So a lot of questions are starting to swirl. And really, if you start to look at the film, it's just a few little small things. It really is just being a tick off when a guy's coming to attack or not pushing them to their weak side and just giving up their strong side. And it's a lot of little things that seem correctable. And it seemed like the Magic had corrected them in the 2 games prior to the Atlanta game. But of course, those were to Charlotte and to Washington. So we end up having to take those with a grain of salt. So let's dive in right now in the film for the game here. So we're going to start off mostly with Risacher here. So if we start that one again, so we see at the very beginning of this, you see how he's Desmond in the on the back corner there on the left is Risacher and Desmond. So Desmond's going to do a pretty good job of fighting over this screen because Porzingis is going to end up coming over as well to get in front of Desmond. So for this action, now this is the type of stuff that we really hope that the Magic start to run as well. So you see there, Paolo unfortunately kind of gets in the way of Desmond trying to get through, and Risacher is going to use Porzingis here. So either Wendell would have to jump to see, he'd have to guess on that early and try to jump and try to switch on that. And if he doesn't, then Risacher is going to have a clean cut. And again, Desmond pushes through to try to get a hand in his face, but Risacher is able to hit that one. So again, this is the thing that hopefully people are also starting to understand a little bit more. It's not that the Magic aren't trying, especially like in the Philly game. I have some video on the Philly game, but it was a little too late, I think. But maybe I might add it to another future video when it comes to point of attack defense. But as we saw there, guys running or guys playing or running without the basketball have really started to affect the Magic. So I don't know if that's something that other teams have seen in the Magic defense and they're starting to attack, because you're going to see it a lot in this Atlanta team. They cut at the right times and they're constantly cutting, and the Magic are just a step slow. And I think that's where we're going to continually see the Magic lose out on there. So there's a nice three. That was a big shot by Risacher, to be fair. Like, he catch and shoot, hand in his face, good shot. So in this one, we see Risacher here, closer in the bottom right of the screen with Desmond. Now, this is going to be one of those moving without the basketball situations, and Desmond's caught ball watching. So just like anything, though, and as we see here, the person that led the Hawks with assists in the last game was Dyson Daniels. It was Dyson Daniels that was the one that was constantly penetrating, constantly beating his man off the dribble. And unfortunately, this is Franz. So Franz was getting beat a lot in the last game, and I think that's the thing that's been interesting so far for me. And I've mentioned it in one of the videos. It might have been the play-by-play, but Franz has been getting beat more this year. So I don't know if people are seeing something in Franz's defense, but Franz, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to either get square and get set so he can sit and guard. And just by the time he gets to the man is already making the first cut. And as we see here, like, look, Franz is sitting, and we see Dyson starts the attack. Now he's going to start doing this the spin, which is something that I think the Magic really should have been reading a bit more on. Dyson Daniels' spin. He spun most of the time, so really they should have kept him, trying to keep him going to his left. And when he goes to his left, obviously he's not as effective. So here he starts to do a little bit of a, not a post up, but Risacher cuts the right time. Desmond's late, and that's too easy right there. And Desmond, points his finger up like, "Hey, that's my bad." Talking to the coaching staff like, "Hey, guys, I saw that. I know we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, but it is what it is." So that was that one. So here, Risacher is on the top right, as you see there. Porzingis was a trouble point for the Magic. I don't have film on Porzingis necessarily because he was 2 of 8 from the game, so 2 of 8 from the field, and then he just lived on the free throw line. So that is a bit hard to watch over and over and over again. A guy just kind of flop around being 7'3" and continually getting the foul call. So, but here he's able to orchestrate it. Here comes Desmond and Risacher. Desmond does a pretty good job staying like in this one. This one is just better offense, really. Desmond again was trying, and he was with his man, and he just didn't have the ability to stop the defense. He doesn't have the length that other guys in the league have, and sometimes it's just going to happen. But again, in both we've seen in 2 out of those 3 instances there, Desmond was in position, or at least fighting to get position, and it just didn't work out for him there. But then that's why Desmond has to do it on the opposite end as well. Right? Risa Shea ended up with over 20 points and Desmond with only 9. Granted, he got ejected a little early, but it was still in the second half. And Risa Shea scored like 11 of their first 13 or something crazy like that. So now in the fast break here, we see Jalen Johnson. Because we're not able to stop ball, like I mentioned already with Dyson Daniels, like here right now, no one's stopping ball. Jalen wasn't able to stop Jalen Johnson, so now Paolo has to decide if he's going to come over to stop ball. And at that point, we see Risacher is already behind Paolo. And this is what's been happening to us all season long. We can't stop penetration. Once the defensive guy, the back end, does what he's supposed to do to step up to try to impede the ball handler, then we got guys constantly alley ooping behind us. And that's something that is going to be the big issue, and that's going to be the thing that the Magic are really going to have to start scheming towards, because right now it doesn't seem that we have the horses to be able to stay in front of guys right now. And again, why is that when we've been able to do it for years and years? Is it really just not having Gary Harris on this team anymore, or not having a guy like KCP who was only here for 1 year? Don't forget, we were the second ranked defense, or the top 3 defense at least 2 years ago as well, before KCP. So Cole Anthony wasn't a defensive stopper. So what really is the difference in this? And I think it's just the way the NBA is attacking, and the way the NBA spacing as well as tempo. They're attacking before the Magic really can set a lot of the times. And that is a part of what's happening. But so like in this case right here, this is just an easy fast break that the Magic are unable to do. Luckily, Risacher, for some reason, twice in this game, trying to do alley oops, he tried to go reverse instead of, or I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he ended up trying to reverse alley oops and missed them both. So in this one, he still was able to get the rebound and put it right back up. So that's that. So again, here we go. So now we look, Risacher is on the top right. So everybody's discombobulated in this one. So is Franz supposed to be over with Risacher? Is it Tyus? Like Tyus is right in the center there, just hanging out, right? What happened really prior to this? The NBA stats didn't really have it a little much further back, so it was hard to see what caused the confusion. But I think it was a delayed fast break, and just people were not set, and guys didn't find man. So here, Tyus is not going to get there in time. But again, we got lucky in that one. That wasn't a good process either way. He got an open shot, he just missed it, and we got lucky in that instance. So another Dyson Daniels attack here. So we have him against Wendell. Tyus is up on the top. We see Risacher is over in the back corner at the top there. So this is where we go, and we see, all right, Jalen does a good job up at first to kind of cut off the back door. Then he goes, all right. But now, once we have here, Tyus gets picked off kind of last minute there. So now it's just a straight line drive baseline. And now again, we've lost contain. So now at this point, we're in scramble mode. So now Jalen, instead of continuing to go with Risacher all the way over, he's going to be the first line to, again, pick up for his teammate, come over to play at the rim, and Risacher has another wide open shot. Now, Franz rotates over. He stays close-ish to him, but really is not able to alter the shot in any way. So again, Risacher, there's two guys here on Risacher now. Good pressure to get the ball out of his hands to their backup point guard, who really didn't play much and wasn't their real backup point guard or their primary ball handler. So then Jalen pushes Tristan over to him. The guy gets it right back. Jalen is able to contend and he misses that one. But it just felt like we're always in scramble mode. And I think that's that I feel, having watched all 8 games, every minute of all 8 games, you just see that the Magic are a little off. There's just something that's a little off. Like I've mentioned multiple times about Goga being just a little off. A lot of these shots that he's contesting, he would have blocked last year, but he's just a little bit off in getting there in time. And again, I don't know if that's just the speed of the NBA in this year, 25-26 season, that guys are just playing a little bit faster, and just that little bit faster is holding the Magic defense as a whole. But even a guy like Goga, who would have blocked a bunch of these shots that are going right at him, really, he's just a little bit off and a little bit slow, and unfortunately not able to get to that ball. So here, Risacher is against Goga. Goga tries to stop ball. That's going to be an air ball, so he contests. That's a good one there. Again, on fast break, we got Dyson Daniels here trying to find another spin. It's a 5-on-4 at this point, as we see. So Paolo was in the back corner and just didn't run back to get into the action here. So we see Paolo's just kind of jogging into the realm here. All the 4 other Magic guys are doing their work. Like Franz is basically stuck in between the 2 guys there, between Na and Risacher there, and Paolo just kind of jogs back, and boom, another 3. So we've talked about it multiple times, and we know that that's what it is. It's the defense is about effort. It's about caring. It's about energy. It's about all of that. And that's why we love Jalen so much. He puts his body on the line all the time. Now, is it reckless? Yes, the way Jalen plays at times, but that's why we love him. It's for that energy. It's for the care. It's for him doing everything he can to try to slow down the other team. And Paolo in that one just jogged back. And I'm reminded of the 2K ratings when it talked about there was a little one of the many little sectors that talked about not defensive intensity, but always playing defense, let's say, or whatever it would that whatever the terminology actually is. And Paolo's was really low, actually, in them saying that they were basically saying that he's not always locked in on defense, and he has some good counting stats so far this year with being in the right place by coming over on the weak side and defending at the rim. But in an instance like this, jogging back like that when all 5 of the Hawks are ahead of you, you can jog if one of their guys are back. So it's a 4-on-4. But if it's a 5-on-4, you gotta run back and get on one of them in. So that's a disappointing one here. So this one's Jalen Johnson. We got No over on the side there, and then this one is just a strong side, little cross, and then into a step back on Jalen. He misses that one, so it's that's why I guess the NBA advanced stats just cuts it off. So I don't know why that wasn't an editing thing. That was just how they cut it off. So here, AB again, not able to stop contain. So now look at Risacher. Risacher is wide open because AB wasn't able to stay in front of, it looks like, Nah. Since he wasn't able to stay in front of him, and Nah was able to get past Nikhil Alexander Walker, was able to get past AB in this one. Now Goga had to step up. We see already Goga's there to try to protect the rim, and again, the Magic have a pretty good percentage at the rim. We're holding teams to the second lowest percentage at the rim. It just stinks because they're getting to the rim so often that we're giving up more points just mathematically. So Goga's doing his job. Bane steps into where Goga is, so Bane's also doing his job. But then, because now we're in scramble mode, Risacher, who's Bane's guy, Bane tries to recover, runs, and puts a hand up. He's just going to be a little bit too late. And to be fair to the Magic, the Atlanta Hawks ended up shooting better than they normally shoot. They normally shot 33% prior to this game. They shot over 40 something percent, 42%, I believe, off the top of the head. So we can see that it was a good night shooting for them. Those type of shots were not always being hit by them, and it just stinks mostly because we were not able to slow down the point guard there, right, or the ball handler. And that's again the big discussion point is why are the Magic not able to stop even guys like Nikhil Alexander Walker should not be beating AB off the dribble, right? And if that's the case, then maybe we should not be constantly helping off of our guy. And if he wants to shoot a layup, then that'll be on AB to be the one to contest. But maybe we reconfigure our defense that way and everybody stay home, nobody come over and rotate. That's not going to end up well for us a lot of the times, especially with the faster point guards. But we have to really, again, start to look at things schematically. And Mosley, poor Coach Mosley, is starting to get on the hot seat a little bit, or people are talking about the hot seat. So he needs to start doing something because otherwise the drum beat is going to continue to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. And the DeVos family is pretty consistent. They don't really go crazy, but without doing any changes, that's really going to start to it's going to suffer his the stance with the fans, the stance with the team, the stance with the media. This media is just going to continue to start talking about that this team is better than the record, and then the drum beat starts, right? And we all know what the narratives can eventually lead to. So here in this one, they push forward again. Now Desmond's a 2-on-1. This is what happens when you turn the ball over. Luckily, he missed this weird reverse alley oop here. It's another one. Dyson Daniels. Once Dyson Daniels beats his guy, then where are we at this point, right? Like there's not much. Now this one's on Tristan. Tristan was not able to keep contain. He does his spin move again for whatever reason. We weren't keeping him going left, and there's video on making him go left and how that worked out for us. He's going to be the next one we're going to focus on. But then at that point, now Jet Howard, and this one comes in like if he's going to block the shot. I don't really know why people aren't staying home on some of these shooters when the Magic do a good job of limiting 3-point shots for the other team. But in this one, they were, I feel, a little over collapsing on defense. So there, now Risacher is wide open there. Now, well, wide open in that he caught the ball wide open, but again, Jalen sprints over, does his job, and is able to contest and keep them from getting that one. So that was Risacher's day, and we can see how important keeping the front line of the defense stout. Without that, then shooters are going to be able to stay in the corners. They're going to get the ball, and that's something that unfortunately the Magic really don't have. The Magic don't have guys that are able to really break down the defense, beat their man off the dribble, and then pass out to the wings. Desmond could be that person. Desmond has been that person a little bit early on in the season. He was once he would catch the ball and the defense was overreacting so much that he would pump, the guy would jump, he would fly by, and he was trying to pass the ball at times, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And he, in the end, would rely on going to the basket himself and not getting not getting the teammates involved. So we just don't have that type of point guard, and we're going to go over Jalen's day a little bit later on as well. But it's just it doesn't help that our offense, we don't have someone that can just break down a defense and then get to that second level and just make the rest of the defense have to react onto you. So Dyson Daniels, we've seen just his passing, but now for him on his shots. So now this is a nice switch with Wendell. Wendell's pretty good at keeping guys in front of him, but here there's a nice spin. Dyson Daniels was doing that all game long. I'm not entirely sure. Again, Mosley mentioned that he didn't have the team ready for the game, and I think that's something that coaches say, right? They want to deflect from their players. They want to say it's their fault and all of that, but sometimes you kind of think that it is like, what are they doing? What are they installing? What kind of scouting is happening? And I'm sure we have the scouting report on all these guys, right? Like I could tell you, like I'm a nobody, and I'm out here and I'm able to talk about Dyson Daniels spin move and Jalen Johnson's little spin move, fade away that's similar to Paolo's that he also probably shouldn't shoot, but I could tell you some of the tendencies of these guys, and for some reason, just the team wasn't ready to compete at a certain in a certain way, and I think that's the surprising bit. So he does his spin move here and able to get that one over Ji. Same thing here. So now he's going against Desmond. He goes left, another spin to the center, gets that one to go over Desmond. So already twice, even I wonder if there's in-game discussions between the coaching staff. I'm like, all right, well, he's already hit the B button a couple times and spun on our guys. Maybe, hey, make sure you stay on that spin and you force him to the left. So this one's Jalen Johnson, strong side over to Dyson Daniels. Now Franz in this one, I'm fine with this. This is he's not a good 3-point shooter, or at least not like a great 3-point shooter. So strong side. You would hope that Franz will be a little bit more attached, but to be fair, he's having to help off of some of the guys in the wings, and that's what the Magic have continually had to do because we've been incapable of stopping ball. So he probably should have stayed closer. And again, that could just be something that the Magic defensively start to deploy and staying home. You stay home, which is something that they did a lot versus Boston last year in the playoffs. Just stay home. If Porzingis is against Corey Joseph in the playoffs, it is what it is. You stay home, and then that's what the Magic maybe need to start incorporating again, because right now they're helping off a little too much, and too many guys are getting open from three. Again, the Magic are keeping the threes down in general, so it's not like they're giving up the most of the NBA. They're doing a good job of keeping them down, but in games like this, the games versus Detroit, the game versus Philadelphia, there was just too often that they were leaving their guy because of the penetration from the point guard, and then it was just scramble mode from there. So Dyson Daniels here. You see Franz is giving him the three, which is fair. That's part of the scouting report. But they switch, so Desmond tries to come over, and see, you didn't let him spin to his right, and he goes with his left, and it wasn't even close. So that right there hopefully could have been something that they would have seen even at halftime, because this all happened in the first half. Now coming out of halftime, Jalen doesn't see him. Court awareness, and they're not great from Jalen. So again, nice back cut here. So this one isn't at the point of attack. This is just a nice cut on Jace. Moving without the basketball is just something that Atlanta did all over and over and over and over again, and the Magic just were not able to slow it down. This one against AB, nice little Euro step. Like that one you tip your cap. You say, hey, we got one of those. We got Franz that does similar types of moves, and that one is what it is. Here is another one that goes against Tristan. Good job in not allowing him. He made a much more tough, a much more difficult shot instead of that spin move into a little righty hook. That one, you would like Tristan to be able to elevate a little bit more on the contest, but that one wasn't so bad. Same thing for Noah here. does a little bit of a spin and is able to get that one. So not really slowing down the spin, but it's against Noah. End of game. There's not much that could happen here. So now for Naw. Now in Naw in the he was 8 for 18 in that first game, so it wasn't like he was doing it all that well as well. He scored 19 in the first one. This one he had a okay game as well, or a much better game. Blows past Paolo on that one. That luckily he misses, but again, you look at the you don't look at the result, you look at the process. Here again, now Porzingis doesn't even hit AB. AB just tries to avoid Porzingis in this respect, and now he's in scramble mode, right? So either now Wendell has to switch, but no, Wendell's staying with Porzingis. So now AB has to come from behind, and he gets the block, but still, it's if he would have not gone so slowly, if he would have attacked more, then he could have had Wendell come towards him and then been able to get Porzingis the ball. But he just that was on no, and that's because he's not a true point. But still, we see how he's able to get most of the way to the rim with no impunity, basically, with no one stopping him. So this one, AB gets clipped a little bit, misses the three. That's fine. He gets the ball here. Again, no one stopping the ball. Like in Eurobasket, I was complaining a little bit that they were really doing a lot of these take fouls, and it was just it's obviously different rules in Eurobasket, but it was a lot of these take fouls, and in this situation, I don't know, like someone should have grabbed him, especially if Tyus is in front. Then technically, it's not a take foul, right? So here, Tyus isn't going to do anything to him. He's able to go up here. Another screen by KP. Now the thing with the frustration with the officiating in this game was stuff like that. Like, look, he's still moving. Never like he doesn't stop once in the on the pick. And that was something that happened a lot with him and a Kongwu. They just kept moving, and the Magic, because they weren't flopping like dead fish or like fish that are out of water like the Atlanta Hawks did in the first game, they didn't get a lot of these calls. So now wide open three because he didn't step up to do anything. But KP was moving throughout that whole thing, so that really shouldn't have happened, but it is what it is. So now one little jab step, and then Porzingis is there, clips Jalen, little long mid range there. We have this here again, ball. We have a screen there. They use the ball handler. It is a nice play, super nice play, nice pass as well. Very very good plays. Plays like that, hey, you tip your cap. That one was a nicely designed play. Luckily, they didn't do it too often, so that we had to keep defending it. But that was a nice play on that one. So here against AB again, see right there, instantly into a switch, which is what the Magic do, and that's fine. But now it's versus Paolo. Now he contests and he missed, but that's still you're putting more miles on Paolo when we're needing him to be the offensive engine of the entire team. We have multiple engines. We're one of those. We have Franz and we have Paolo, but still, we don't want Paolo to be caught too much on the defensive end. So a little dribble. Like I said, Kongwu comes up, gets him there. It's a switch with Goga. Goga doesn't come out, and he gets the lucky bounce. This one's on Jace, misses that one. And then off of AB, a screen, a little switch, hits that one. So pretty efficient day for Na in this one, but it wasn't really him that was the one that was breaking down the defenses like Dyson Daniels was, and that's on Desmond, that's on Franz to really do a better job of stopping the point of attack. Now AB was on Na, and he wasn't really doing the best job of containment, and I think that's the thing. But again, it's motion, it's movement, so if Atlanta's able to do this, what's Steph Curry going to do if Curry plays against the Magic? We saw what he did last year against the Magic at in Orlando, but just that amount of movement without the basketball right now is just really starting to confuse the Magic. And when you have a point guard or someone that's able to get them the ball on time, Porzingis had a couple of good passes, Dyson Daniels had a couple of good passes, Jalen Johnson had a couple of good passes. It's just really difficult to slow a team down. So here's more Jalen Johnsons. Now, Jalen Johnson, I didn't feel in either one of the games so far against the Magic, he played all that well. At least if Jalen Johnson's supposed to be their best player now, with even with Trae Young on the team or on the court, he didn't play all that well. So this is a pull up, misses against Paolo. This one, Franz gets beat again. He's able to, and this is on Dyson Daniels who attacked him on this one. Franz was able to use his long arms and kind of deflect the ball. So that's why he doesn't go straight up. But once Franz is beat, what does Paolo have to do? Paolo has to come over. Paolo has to come over to help the defense. And then once that happens, then we've got other guys who are going to shoot the basketball. Now, here, this guy is going to choose not to shoot it, but we see that in between the two is Tristan. So Tristan goes to the first guy, and now even though Paolo is able to recover to an extent to get back to Jalen Johnson, it's still too late, and he hits that three. This one, he just elbows Paolo in the face, and then no one stops ball, goes right on in with nobody really doing anything on that one. This one is against Goga. Good job on Goga to step up. Makes him miss that one. Again, Dyson Daniels now on Franz. Franz is on skates. And because of that, AB did a weird little switch there or try to come out. AB ended up being out of position on that one, and that cost us an extra 2 points there. Now, here's where he pushes off on JI, throws his arm off, and then Jalen gets called for a foul. He should have been called for a goaltending, really, more than anything. So it should have been for 2 points and not for three, but he ended up getting on that one. So again, here we go. Now, Paolo not able to stop Dyson Daniels. He gets past him. So now Dyson has really a couple options here. So he has, because Paolo's been beat. Now you see Wendell is coming over to defend the rim. So Porzingis is behind him there, who's going to get the ball. So now Wendell's going to have to recover back to Porzingis. Franz is kind of in no man's land. He doesn't really notice that Jalen Johnson went behind him. Oop, right in the middle there. Even though Desmond tried his hardest to come back over, seeing what was happening. But again, that's why I say that Desmond is not a bad defender. He's a good team defender. He knows where he needs to be. He just doesn't have the physical skills or the physical attributes that make an excellent defender. But he definitely puts in the effort. So the more I've watched the video, like I was a bit more critical of Desmond's defense earlier on. Now they're still scoring on them, but he's still trying. It's not that he's really just letting everybody go and letting things happen along the way. So Jalen Johnson's going to do a nice little fadeaway here against Wendell. Not much you can do on that. Wendell, the shot doesn't look that great, and that's where you start to get frustrated a little bit when you see guys that shoot like that. And you see Paolo's looks pretty good form wise. Just Paolo is just missing them, unfortunately. And then here he's up top against AB. Kongu comes, pushes off. Now it's another switch onto Paolo, and he's able to get him to stop. Now again, Paolo, like they did their work, right? The Magic, as I said, it feels a little bit off because if you look at the numbers, it wasn't that they killed us by shooting 50% from three or 40 something percent. They only shot one more three. They only made one more three than we did. They had four more shots, but we turned them over more than we turned the ball over, right? So you kind of were looking at the numbers like what's going on in this one, and it really ended up being a lot of the free throws. Like they made five more free throws than we did. They shot nine more. They made five more. So that's 5 points. Plus they made an extra 3-pointer. All right, that's another couple points there. And they were able to just play a little bit faster, and the turnovers that we gave up were more live ball turnovers. They were able to attack us than a lot of the times the other way around. So I think that it just the score looks bad. We lost by 15. We kind of steamrolled. They hit threes when they were open, but it wasn't like they. It felt like a killing, and they did do better, obviously, in the game. But there's it's just the small little things that is what really kept us from being able to stay in the game or stay closer connected throughout the course of the game. So he pushes off on and Tristan there. Tristan's able to keep him from there. And another one of these against Noah. Same thing. These fadeaway jumpers just don't make sense. I don't understand why he would shoot these. Now, this one I even wanted to get Luke Kennard because it even felt on a few instances that even Luke Kennard was breaking down the Magic defense. And you sit there and you're like, all right, how bad have things gotten that Luke Kennard is going to be the one that is starting to break us down? And here he's like, oh, he didn't break us down in that one. He was just wide open because of penetration. But here on the pick there, is able to just go right on in. AB's trailing the whole entire time. Same thing. AB tries to gamble. Now we have to switch. Now we see Dyson basically takes Jace along with him. Not much for Jace to do. They try to come from the other end. So good job on Tristan and flashing over to contest. Again, the Magic are contesting. It's not that they're just wide open. No one's coming to run after them. The Magic are still putting in an effort. So when Mosley says sitting down and guarding, that is more at the point of attack. But on the back end, when we're scrambling, the Magic are putting in the effort. They're just that little bit off. So here, same thing. Just this Jace just loses him in this one, and he's able to get all the way to the rim. Now, this one is going to be the one of the really probably the worst takeaways that Franz that had like two or three takeaways in that third quarter that were just backbreaking when the Magic were really trying to claw back into the game. And as you see there, they're down 21 at the moment. So now he's there, tries to shoot it at the buzzer, does not make it, luckily for us. So now to our side because I wanted to kind of give context as well to our offense. Our offense is better this year. We all know that it's better in certain ways, right? We're playing faster, we're scoring more points per game, but we're not being the most efficient, right? Our offensive rating is still not where we'd hoped it would be. The defensive rating is definitely not where we hoped it would be. We are shooting less 3-pointers so far this year than we did last year. We're shooting them at a better clip. We're shooting 33-ish% so far as a team. I think we're going to shoot better over the course of the year. Why aren't we shooting more threes, right? This teams are not really running us off the 3-point line. So why are we not shooting more threes? It is starting to get repetitive from me. So apologies if you watch a lot of my videos. I talk about it a lot because I just don't understand. We're going to lose the math problem if we don't start shooting more threes. But if we just look at our offensive output in this one now, Franz missed a few layups, and it just it's going to be one of those games sometimes when you watch Franz's layup and it like hits the whole entire rim, it spins around and then comes out, and you're like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games for Franz, unfortunately. So here he was able to attack Porzingis a lot in the playoffs. He was shooting over 60% against Porzingis over the course of those 5 games. So he goes here, steps back, and he's just unable to get that one to go. So Paolo in the middle passes it out. So that's good on Paolo. That's been something that if there was a positive, and we'll talk about Paolo's game a little bit later on, is that Paolo really was starting to pick apart the defense in that he was able to see where the defense was coming from, the second man or the third man, and getting the ball out to the right people. And Paolo from last year might have taken that fadeaway shot against Jalen Johnson, but no, he got it out to Franz. Franz then attacks Dyson Daniels, leaves him in the dust, goes up against Porzingis, and misses that one. And that one should have went in on the putback. That one missed out. So then Franz here, it's going to be one of those step backs from last year. Not really in the course of the offense, but there wasn't much time left in the shot clock, so he had to shoot it. Comes off. Dyson Daniels Franz is hitting his corner threes this year. So Dyson Daniels comes, plays the defense on him. Franz does his little spin move on him, gets to the rim, just comes right on out. Paolo attacks a Kongwu, shoots, misses. Franz gets the rebounds, out to AB. AB, most of the way in, and Franz gets that offensive rebound. Paolo over to Franz. Only 1 second left in the shot clock, so he has to step back. Misses that one. So I mentioned during the game, it wasn't like a time and situation is a big deal with when it comes to shot making. And I mentioned that a lot of the shots that Franz was shooting from three were not within the offense. And in reality, they were within the offense. Just unfortunately, the offense had sputtered throughout 24 seconds and he had to end up shooting it at the buzzer of the shot clock. So here, you just go, he comes right in, and Dyson Daniels, he does the Dyson Daniels spin to him. So, like I said, we have one of those guys, and I get it would to me it would be infuriating, but for the coach to just watch these guys spinning on you constantly, especially when you know that that's going to be what they do. Franz does better at the straight line driving with his left than Dyson Daniels does, so that's why with Franz it would be harder to just sit on that spin, but they didn't on that one, and he spun and was able to make that one with his left hand. This one, nice little pump, get downhill and hit that floater over to Franz here again, attacks, gets the harm and the foul. Spin on that one, another missed layup, right? Like so, you add those two missed layups, and again, we're getting closer, right? And a lot of the times, it's when you hit these shots, then it starts to affect the other team, and who knows what would have happened if he was able to hit just those two shots, and we were able to be just a little bit closer at different points of the game. Franz here goes against the two defenders, able to make that left one over Kongwu. Nice little out of bounds play for an easy layup. Goes against Porzingis again, not able to get that one. So a couple times he went up against Porzingis, and credit to Porzingis, he did a much better job on defense in this one than he did in the playoffs. Of course, he was sick. He's been sick a little bit this year as well, it seems, and he was up for this game. So he's going to be trouble if we play this team in the playoffs. So out of bounds for Paolo, goes up against Jalen Johnson, gets that one to go. It was a pretty fast start for Paolo, so we were excited. So if you looked at a little bit earlier here, let's see if I can get it back to just a little bit. Okay, so yeah, here's his first. So now if you look here, Paolo starts to come, he starts to make his drive. There's a little bit of movement now. You'll see on some of the other sets that there just is no movement, no back cutting, no movement without the basketball, like I talked about. You saw Atlanta was constantly in motion. Not every single play, of course, but in a lot of the plays, they were moving around. So in this one here, Paolo, look at it. Look at all the eyes, all five guys. He's got basically a little triangle around him in this one. So instead of passing it out though, like he could have passed hard, quick to Franz there, or he had an alley oop possibility with Wendell. He ends up waiting. And this is where the decision making sometimes you worry a little bit about with Paolo. Like if he would have just had a quicker decision and kind of seen what was going to happen, he could have gotten the ball out to one of his teammates, but he delayed a little bit long. So now, luckily, Porzingis kind of kept dropping and dropped a little too far, went under the basket, and then Paolo was able to get it to go over him. Again, Paolo just only 3 seconds left in the shot clock, so we didn't do a good job as an offense. So Paolo had to do Paolo things, unfortunately, and be the one to take a last second 3-point shot, and he misses that one. This one's off of a turnover. He's able to get that nice easy basket for him. That's what we're hoping. Easy baskets. He doesn't get that one to go. Again on Jalen Johnson. A screen is coming from Desmond. He rejects the screen, comes and is in attack mode here. So now he's going up. Look at again, three guys basically going up against Paolo here. Three guys. So he has wide open in the corner. He has Franz, but instead he's going up against a Kongwu and a second defender, Dyson Daniels, and he's able to get that one to go. But just because the result ended up being a positive. Like I said, is that the right play? Is that the right process? That's the type of play there that you would hope that Paolo would see and be able to get the ball out, because if he's able to beat guys off the dribble, that's what we need, as I was talking about. And all the other teams are doing it to us. But he has to be able to trust his guys and get it out. This isn't the team anymore that he needs to be the only person shooting for the Magic to have any success. He has teammates. He can pass it. So he makes that one. So yippee, it was an and one. So it was kind of like a yeah kind of play. But Franz, who's been hitting it from the corner, was wide open. He could have passed it out to him there on that one. So in this one, does one of those fadeaways that we don't love, misses that one. Comes out 11 on the shot clock here. The Magic not down by too much. A little hesitation dribble between his legs, takes on Jalen Johnson, and he's not able to get that one to go. So now here, JI sets a back screen there. Now Paolo's going to pick and roll with AB, goes out. 13 left on the shot clock. Now, sure, you could say it's kind of a 2-for-1, but I guess even at that point, it's not technically a 2-for-1. It's a 3-for-1, 3-for-2. Anyway, he comes up, and at that point, the Magic they were losing ground. There was a bit of a run by Atlanta. So Paolo, I guess, was hoping to stem the tide there. He misses that one. Early shot clock, 3, wide open. We'd hope he'd be able to hit those shots, but right now Paolo just isn't hitting from 3. He's shooting in the 20s from 3. So now he's got Franz's stats from 3 from last year, and without that shot, the Magic really are going to struggle at different points in this season. So now going up against Porzingis. Again, at this point, look at this. Not that much movement. Wendell's kind of moving out of the way. So now look at it. There is spacing in that, right? Like, look how far away Desmond is. Look how far away Jalen is, and Franz is wide open there. So now he's just kind of waiting. So he ends up getting the and one opportunity from Porzingis, but that's a horrible call. The referees were not great in this game. It's a bad call, and just no movement at all. Now, it's indicative on Paolo to move quick to make the defense react, right? But the defense wasn't reacting because no one's moving and Paolo's barely moving. So without any movement, either from the other guys or from Paolo attacking to make the defense react, this is why I talk about him being relentless and having to have that aggression. I talk about aggression with AB a lot, and with Tristan. Without them forcing the defense to do anything, you don't know who's going to be caught slipping. Maybe one of the defenders slips when he comes, and then you have a wide open 3-point shot, right? But if you do nothing and the rest of the guys are doing nothing, nothing's happening. So that in that instance, again, he gets bailed out and he ends up getting an and one. But that just shows that kind of offense is the issue for the Magic. And I think that's something that hopefully we are able to remedy at some point, but it's just not happening right now. So Paolo here again. Now it's a double team here. So say, okay, who's open, right? You've got, it looks like Tristan out in that back corner and Desmond over in the corner here. Right? He has to be able to see, okay, Risacher steps off, but now Risacher is kind of in the middle. He's not really guarding anybody. So Desmond comes out, which is what he should do to kind of give more space. But now Desmond's kind of I don't know if he brought Nah, but Nah starts to come on over. So again, what does Paolo do? Instead of getting the ball out to Desmond with 12 on the shot clock, he goes for the drive, and good defense by Congo by Gay on that one, and he doesn't get anything from that one. Then he ends up eventually it comes back to him and he gets an easy bunny there. But again, now this is again the type, it's such small things, and this is what I'm saying, that there's so many little things that go into a loss like this. It's not just that the Magic missed out on big things, because again, the Magic out rebounded them, or were at least close enough in the reboundings. They definitely had more offensive rebounds than them. They ended up having more takeaways than giveaways in this one, which has been rare so far this year. They did so many positives in this, and it just when you look at the score, you're like, wow, man, how'd they give up 127 points when the other team gave the ball away 19 times? And it's just because they were more efficient with it. And small things like this, Paolo with the ball passes it to Franz, but look what that ball is. The ball's on the ground. If he hits Franz in stride, maybe Franz decides to shoot it. But nope, since the ball's on the ground, now the defender has an opportunity to come over. Franz is back to Paolo. Now, okay, Paolo has the driving lane, right? But look at Jalen. He has Jalen wide open. But what does Paolo do? Paolo decides to drive. And that one guy, because he didn't even pretend to pass. If he would have pretended to pass to Jalen, then he would have stunned the I always forget the poor guy's name, number 2 for Atlanta. He would have stunned him a little bit. Maybe he would have had to go over to Jalen, but because he doesn't even really look to Jalen's side to pretend to even pass it to him, now he's able to just stay there, be an impediment, and then ends up knocking the ball away. So now turnover. But because Paolo decided to not even go and look at Jalen's way. Now, I love that he didn't just shoot the three there, that he was attacking the basket. That's great. But again, something so small, a quick little look, quick little fake over that would have made the guy maybe take one step further. But then if he would have attacked, because he made a pretty quick decision there and he was attacking with force, which is all those are positive. But just that little pump to get the defender to kind of shift a little bit. And if he gets that shift, then he's able to just drive and again, he was going up against you saw a Kongwu in the end was up there, or Gay, I forget which one. One of them were at the rim to meet him, but still, like he still could have gotten a foul call theoretically. But by then the ball was out. They were going to call a foul, so not the best play by Paolo. So here, pass out to Wendell. Wendell gives the ball back, sets a bit of a screen. Paolo shoots three, misses it. So we know that was kind of Paolo's night, Paolo's year so far from three. So not an efficient day, and again, small little things. He did a really good job in a bunch of those things in that one set. To me, is just an illustration of it, where just a small little fake to one of your teammates, and that would open things up for you, or getting it out to Franz on that one where you did get an N1 opportunity, but getting it out to Franz and he shoots a three and makes life easier for you. Because if he starts hitting a couple more threes, then guys aren't going to be able to come and dig, and then you'll be able to have more of a one-on-one opportunity at the rim. So here's Desmond's world. So Desmond didn't even have a shot in the first quarter. So Desmond, the last couple games have been an odd one for him after having so much usage, having the ball so much, and having a large amount of the usage for the team. Now he's like 6th or 7th on the usage the last few games, and here he did see that there was an opportunity for him to take command, and he did. So here again, though, he takes on Porzingis, and that's not going to work out for Desmond at the rim. Smaller guys are able to defend him at the rim. This is what I talk about a lot. He needs to be the floor spacer. He needs to be out there shooting the basket. I'm not saying he should only shoot threes, but he should shoot a lot of threes. So here, Paolo sits the screen, and what does he do? Bam! Hits that three when we needed it. Again, Paolo with the ball. He sets a little bit of a brush screen. He has the ball wide open. Bam! You see, Luke Kennard didn't come all the way over. So guys are not attacking even Desmond now at this point, because Desmond is not shooting as many threes. So they're not closing as hard, because what he's been doing is he's been driving the ball more. So they're not attacking the closeout, or they're not a closeout with force, because they're like, oh, okay, he's gonna drive anyway because he's not shooting the threes right now. So that's why he needs to continue to shoot the threes, and hopefully a good performance shooting 2 of 4 from 3 in this one. Hopefully that kind of snaps him out of his slump so far. Here, and there's another one, little screen set there. Paolo sets another screen, ball comes out. Here on this one, straight takes 3. This one I'm fine with. Again, I want him to shoot threes. So If he's going to have a couple with the 15 left in the shot clock, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with that from Desmond. So now here's Jalen's night, because then after that, Desmond got ejected. So Jalen's night didn't attack anybody, just a fadeaway three, a nice back cut here. Is able to get that one to go. But as we see, look, he's going up against four guys. He's going up against a couple guys. Like there's like Paolo's wide open in the corner. Now, to be fair, they probably shouldn't come out to Paolo on the three, but you've got Wendell Carter Jr. shooting it pretty well from three this year. Franz is over in the corner, but Dyson Daniels is there, so it's good for him not to do that. But you have Desmond behind you, that is a 3-point specialist, and you go up against Porzingis there on the floater, and you miss it. Same thing here. Here, you you think he'd be able to take Risacher off the dribble, but no, Risacher stays with him, doesn't get beat, and now instead of passing it out to Franz or passing it over to Desmond, both guys are wide open there. This is what it well, fair. The shot clock was down. Fair enough. He knew he had to shoot it. Apologies, but still, because we also are waiting later, even though our pace is still pretty good, because we're waiting later into the shot clock, he doesn't have it as many options there. So, Franz, again, is not really beating anybody off the dribble. As we see, Okongwu stays with him there, out to Jalen. Jalen, you would hope also. This one he is able to beat, but at that point, he's basically at the basket and now goes against Porzingis and gets the ball taken out of his hands. But hopefully, this is also a good start for Jalen. Hits that three and then hits this three. Bam. And then the nice little backdoor for Jalen in this one. So that's what I saw when looking through the film of the Atlanta game. It's just the little things. It's the little things, like not getting your hips square to the defender and riding them. Like AB does a pretty good job of that in a couple of those settings. He does get beat, but he stays alongside them. But then the Magic defense is reacting, and because they're getting stretched a little bit, they're having to react, and then all the guys are doing what they're supposed to do. So the one guy steps up, the other guy backs up for him, and then at that point, the offense does what they're supposed to and gets it out to the corner or gets it to the other guy, the guy who came over and did his the rotations. So I think that's really what's happening when it comes to the Magic defense. It's the inability to stop the drive. Now, does that mean that we just start playing more zone, which is something that hasn't really been something the Magic have done all that often? Is that just what the Magic are going to have to start working on? Because if we can't slow guys down, then it's definitely going to be a problem for our defense for the whole entire year. We have the personnel to play a okay zone, especially with the length that we have, with Franz and Paolo being so long at the forwards and Wendell being about the same size as them. Jalen's a good size. It's really more Desmond that doesn't have the wingspan, but even then, like they have the size that we could play an okay zone, but it's a shame that we have to play zone at this point, already 8 games into the season, where we can't really slow anybody down. It's either that or do we bring AB to start at shooting guard, which is something that I want AB to play more of, shooting guard, and not be our primary ball handler anymore. He needs to be our 3/D, and that's what he is: a 3-point shooter, a slasher, and a defender. He shouldn't really have the ball all too often, even though he only did turn it all over once in this game. So that's a very good thing for him. Do we do that? Obviously, we don't want to do that. Desmond is our floor spacer. He is the one that can shoot threes, even if he's not shooting threes right now. I mentioned it in the play by play, I believe, that I did already. That or the overreact for week 2, that he's had 7 game stretches like this before. Desmond has, where he shot 23% or lower than the 27% that he's shot so far, and he's always come back stronger. He in the month of December in 2024, after a tough shooting November, he shot 41% in the whole month of December, and then later on in that year he shot over 40% as well. So we just hope that it's going to be sooner than when KCP started to get hot and with more volume. We need to help the math, because we're always going to end up being left behind by the math if we don't increase our volume. We're not last anymore, which is great, but we're pretty much last. I think we're 29th or whatever. So even last year we were 27th in 3-point attempts. We were just dead last in percentage. And right now we need to also continue to push. What are we so far? If I look real quick, I think on field goal attempts we are 27th in the NBA. So we were 23rd in the NBA last year, and right now we're 27th, and we're 21st in 3-point percentage right now. So again, we need to be shooting more threes. We're getting better. That's great. We're getting better and we're shooting more, but we need to continue to shoot more. So that's why I love Tristan's game this past one. Just continuing to launch. That's what Tristan needs to do. That's going to be his role on the second unit. Now we need guys in the first unit that's what their role is going to be, and that's what Desmond's is supposed to be, and that's what hopefully in this homestand, or basically we're going to be playing a lot of home games in the next little bit. Hopefully we can right the ship, get things going, fix all the very small things that are troubling the Magic right now. And we really can't continue to lose to our rivals in the Eastern Conference, because we haven't even played a Western Conference team yet, and we're 3-5. We can't be 3-5 in the Eastern Conference. That's, even though there's a lot of surprise teams right now, but we just can't have that. So hopefully we're able to do the remedies that we mentioned. Maybe some more zone, the rotations. I don't mind the rotations right now. I think we can bring Noah back in a little bit sooner, possibly, and bring Noah and JI at different points, and really start to increase that amount of defense, because we need better defense. Yes, the offense needs to be better as well, but we've won with just defense. So we need to start winning again. And if that means we have to go back to the defense, then that's really what we need to do. So let's focus on that. Let's hope that that's what the Magic focus on. And that's a little bit about this last game. And hopefully against Boston, Boston is played better than I think some people expected. They played harder, and I think that's the thing. So if Jamal Mosley says that he didn't have his team ready to play the type of defense or the type of game that Boston plays, Boston is leading the Eastern Conference in points per game for the opponent. They play hard. They play defense. They care, and they still shoot threes. So just because they don't have Jason Tatum doesn't mean that this is going to be an easy cup game or the game that they play on Sunday. The Magic have to lock in. The Magic have to make sure that they are going to be there and focused. And if they get run off the court in the NBA Cup game, and Mosley says that he didn't have them ready to play, I'm telling you now, a day before, the way Boston plays, they are going to play hard-nosed defense. The Magic need to be ready for that physicality and just be prepared for that. So hopefully the Magic are going to be, and we shall see in the end. So thank you very much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate you spending time talking Magic with me. Do the normal YouTube things, like, share this video, drop a comment below on what you thought of the full film breakdown. Let me know if there's anything more you'd like to see for future videos. I likely will do this a bit more often now that I've figured out my technological issues. And, for certain games, not for every game, but for certain games, I'll probably do this a bit more to talk a bit about the reaction as well as look at the films, so that we have a better understanding of the little things that it takes to win in the NBA. So again, like, share, drop a comment below, and if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. And I'm going to continue to produce them all year long. So again, thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. I hope you're having a great day.